Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 22nd of October 2025. It's currently 4:40 p.m. on the West Coast, 7:40 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember this is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog on how one trader sees the market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions. All right, so just got a short and sharp, but I think pretty important chit chat tonight. Here to chart of gear, still trending up. All Lords had a down day today, but obviously the uptrend's intact. Let's just say look at the Nasdaq 100. Obviously uptrend's intact. Dow Jones uptrend's intact. All right, so that doesn't mean everything's going straight up and hunky dory. I just want to rattle through some of the stocks that I know I've been in and a lot of people have been in, and so the first example is Deep Yellow, right? Amazing setup, amazing start, bang, right? And so, it's frustrating, isn't it, for a lot of people because your paper profit was growing, very quickly, and you're sitting there happy. Then you wake up the next day and it's down a bit, and then bang. This is trading, and I put a post up on the forum talking about how there's all these kind of sayings out there for traders. It's like one's like never let a profit turn into a loss, and the others let your winners run, and the others cut your losers quickly, and all that shit, right? And it's just like in the real world, how are you meant to never let profits turn into losses? It's impossible because in the real world, shit gaps down, okay? It's just the generalizations, but the whole let you winners run thing and then others say you should sell into strength. It's like there's just all this different stuff out there. I still get confused, goddamn. I've been doing this for so long now and like to think I'm pretty confident at it, but it's still one of those things where you find yourself getting hammered like that in a gap down and you start thinking, shit, I'm good at this initial breakout stuff, like bang, bang, like those first 3 to 4 days, I back myself in the majority of trades to be up, and so what would start happening, for example, if I just kept selling on day 3 or 4, just bang, 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 just keep compounding that. And I have had years where I've done that, by the way. Like even I'm pretty sure on Breakout Wednesdays has been years where that's pretty much been my strategy. But and I do that intermittently depending on the market we're on. Like when we're in that, if you remember when we were in the that bear market, that tech bear market, from the top in late 21 and it's down. Like I was still going long, but it was sniper type stuff. It was in and out. It was bang bang scalping, and so some markets that's great, and other markets, if the bull market, I like letting things run. It's about what market we're in, and but I'm rambling, but I'm just bringing up the paradoxes of trading and why it is the hardest, easiest thing in the world. Okay, because it's not complex, but it's so damn hard, isn't it? And you're not alone, okay? It's there's a big community on the forum, and we're all in it, and we're all helping each other out together, right? Now, my way of this, okay, and I know Peter Ferner had a good post on DYL in the forum, was, I did sell some up here into strength, but I would love to say I sold 100% of it, but I didn't, right? And so the rest of it gets stopped out here, okay? And that is life, right? And it hurt, but, I love selling some into strength, and I sell too early all the time. Okay, I sold this guy way too early. I sold my second half at 27 something, and then it went up to 30. Oh shit, went to 43. God, it makes me kind of feel a bit sick in the stomach, to be honest with you. But now it's back down at 26, I think. So it is hard because you want to sell into strength, but then if you let it run, sometimes it doubles again. So it's like, I'm telling you, this game is hard, and you're never, ever gonna figure it out perfectly because perfection does not exist, okay? What you got to do is figure out what can you repeat on a consistent basis to make money, okay? What is a repeatable thing that you can just do time and time again and print cash and grow your bankroll and that's for you to figure out. Okay, let's go to another example. ZIM. Okay, great base, 100% going to take that all day long. Paper profit had started to stack up, and this one was calmer, right? Because it gives you this little support line, and I'm getting out of the whole thing, right? And so I kept most of my profits in ZIM. I was hopeful of this bringing up, but I'm just not, like, my personality, right? And this is we all have different personalities, but I've I'd like to think I've kind of worked hard for my cash, and once this grinds up from $18 to $20, nearly $21, whatever, I don't want to give back that money, right? All of it, okay? And so I'm getting stopped out when support stuff like that breaks, and I'm moving on, okay? So that's that. And then the other one, like, I know heaps of people with EGR, and I talked about this last week, and how it was, how it was flirting with the 10-day, I think, or maybe that was ZIM. Anyway, I know a lot of people got wicked out here, okay, and then bang today, okay. What can I say on that other than this is another example on how hard this game is, and I know we talked about this a bunch, but it's easy to be kicking yourself if you didn't sell on this day at 52, all right? But why? You didn't know. Maybe it was going to gap up 30% the next day, okay? And it's wicking down, but you've got to take a step back and say, okay, like, in uptrending stocks, what do they like to do? Okay, they like to surf the 10 and the 20 moving averages. Okay, the 10 and the 20 simple, or the 10 and the 21 exponential, it doesn't bloody matter. They like surfing those two moving averages. Okay, they're widely used. Okay, it's not just me crapping on about them in some fairy fictional land, right? There's so many people out there that follow these moving averages. They trend. Just look at anybody trending stock, right? It doesn't take a genius to figure it out, okay? This didn't even touch its 20 exponential. It's way above it, right? And so you've got to take a step back and say, okay, like a strong, someone's calling me. Sorry, a strong trend in stock. It's just gonna. That's what it's going to do. It's going to go down, hit its 20-day, hit its 10-day, and it's got to bounce, okay? And so EGR was actually acting okay, and it's shaking people out because that's what it does. It stuffs with your mind, and you're sitting there thinking, shit, I got in at 40 cents or 41 cents, and you're like, holy shit, it went to 52, now it's down to 43, and I'm going to give all my profits back, and I get it, all right? And there's no easy answer, but this is what the market will do. If you want to have a shot at home runs, I think it comes down to this, right? If you want to have a shot at home runs, you need to be 100% willing to give back everything, to give out like 100% the whole lot, right? It needs to come back down, stop you at break even or a small loss. If you don't want to have a shot at home runs, then it's much, much more simple. You're selling into strength on day 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, it's as simple as that, right? You need to make a decision who you are, what you want to do. Are you happy to give it all back and have a shot at a home run, or do you want to scalp and get in and out? Okay, that's really what it comes down to. That was a long way to get there. Okay, now let's get on to what I am interested in, and what I'm interested in now is way, way less than a week or two ago, okay? This isn't new. I've talked about it before. TEA, okay? It's the best base I can find right now, okay? Hasn't broken out. It's got triple tri-point resistance. I talked about it last week. It's in a space I love, okay, at the moment. It's been hot for a while, but I just think it's got, a long way to go, personally, okay? I might be wrong. We'll look back, as those who listen to Breakout Wednesday, I'm wrong all the time. I'm right some of the time, and I just try and make heaps more when I'm right than when I'm wrong, okay? But statistically, this is a profitable company. Yes, they did cap raise not that long ago, but that was mainly for growth or international markets and new things. It wasn't because they're such a shit business that they needed cash. This has got sitting in as a relatively recent IPO. It's sitting there with blue sky above it in a kind of a 5-week base. in a great sector, and they're a servicing company of the mine to mines and other government industrial stuff. Okay, okay, everything there's ticked for me. So TEA, and another one I'm in already is MAD, and I like TEA and MAD get compared a lot. Their businesses have some distinct differences, but I understand the similarities and the comparisons. And Mader Group is in blue sky. Okay, I'm in that and potentially bought too many of them, and so I might need to trim some, but I'm going to wait for it to fling up a bit and then trim it, and then let's just hope it doesn't gap down 30% tomorrow, because I might be crawling under my bed, okay, for a while. And so that is what I like at the moment, okay? There's really not much else. I like TA and I like MAD, okay? And in the bigger picture stuff, I'm just looking at monthly charts and weekly charts of the material sector and BH and Rio, and I'm just sitting back, and it's just reminded me of 15 years ago or whatever, longer than that, 20 years ago, and what was happening in the materials, and I just thinking, my gut is screaming, get long, stay long, wide stops, and so that's what I'm going to do. For right or wrong, we'll see. There's going to be pullbacks. It's going to try and whip people out, but if we look at MAD, like this thing trended up from here, from 80 cents to $8.30, really just been going sideways since then. Okay, and then now it's just finally taken out. So it went sideways for over 2 years. Okay, and now it's broken up and it's got blue sky. Right, this could, in my opinion, it can double from here. Okay, and that's obviously a broad statement to make, but it could way more than double. Right, it could triple or quadruple. Anything can happen in the stock market, and TEA is equal. Like it's here, and it's if we're at the start of this, the BH and Rio are breaking out on monthly charts, and if that's right, and it's not faking us out, and the mother of all fake outs to the upside, and then boom to the downside, then I'm pretty sure that the companies that service them are going to have awesome runs. And so that is really what I'm getting in. A lot of the other stocks right now, they need time to set up. There's heaps of stocks I'm looking at, like in my watch list. I could be crapping on about it, but like SRL, I've been looking, but they need time. Like they all need time. Like look at these stocks that have had great runs, like LYCs and stuff. They just need time, don't they? Like there's nothing here like in them. You can go looking at oil stocks and stuff. I'm like, shit, I'm not gonna trade that. Like that's not my edge. Like that would be me parting from my normal strategy, right? And so I understand. There's probably RSI divergence. There's probably bloody an argument for this and that, but it's just that's not my edge. I'm not that good at this sort of shit. I'm better at easy stuff, guys, like that. Like it's just like a 5-year-old could look at that and think, oh yeah, it's gone sideways and it's tight, and it's got blue sky above it, right? And that's just where over the years, that's where the money's been made for me. And these multi-week, like it's like 4 to 5 weeks is key. Like 8 weeks is magic, but that 4 to 5 weeks, like you need that. Anything 4 to 5 weeks or over that's tied on a weekly with blue sky above it, that's where the money's at, right? For me. Talked about BH, talked about Rio, talked about TEA, talked about MAD. I am still looking at good old TNE because it's just in a great channel. It needs to break $40. Okay, got an order at $40.01 to add to that. I am in it from here, and it's nearly whipped me out a bunch of times. It's potentially going to try and come down and do it again. But every time it gets down here, it seems to have a wick and close. So hopefully we go back up tomorrow, because otherwise I'm going to get pushed out of this starter position. But if it can just come around and then bang above $40, so my order will get triggered on a break of 40, and I will more than double that position, and then I'll just sit tight and try and ride that and make some massive bank. Otherwise, I'll get stopped out for small loss, and that's the game. And what else is there? US, I must admit, I had been pushing myself a little bit, potentially too hard over the last kind of few months. I need to cut down on the US stuff. I'm struggling a little bit with sleep. And and just trading a bit too heavy, and I'm just going to chill and try and take the best ones and trade bigger in them instead of taking heaps of shit, right? PLTR, everyone's looking at it, okay? Talked about it on the forum, but I don't know. Like, there's been so many examples over the years, like the Teslas and the Nvidias and the Apples and the Netflixes and your Googles and, your MSFTs and, where they've just been so obvious and just these massive bases on weekly charts and everyone's looking at it thinking it was that obvious, everyone can see it, but they just continue to go up and break out and boom, right? There's just that many people in the world that don't look at charts. I think it's hocus pocus, or there's institutional money flowing in on a regular basis. There's big funds that need to buy, and there's other big funds that buy, algorithmically, and blah, blah, blah. I'm sidetracking, but there's so many reasons why the charts keep working, and I'm not going to go into it, but this is in a massive uptrend. It's in the best sector. It's the leader in that sector, and it has put in about an 8-9 week base, and the right-hand side of that base is ridiculously tight now. So you got yourself a cup and handle with a really tight right side handle. And so that's that. I'm going to go in and buy that when it breaks out, and that's it. And I'm out of here, and I hope everyone's good. Take care. Bye.